Well, Woodlands Online is happy to have Lisa Shumate here with us today, local Woodlands resident.
That's right.
She's the general manager for Houston Public Media, so we're happy to have somebody that has been around and knows the industry, but also we're excited to talk about your new book and the companion journal. So it's Always and Never, the 20 Truths for
Happy Heart.
That's right. With that position as, general manager, that's kept you so busy. What does a day in your life look like?
So my day can be anything from meeting with staff to working with different colleagues around the university, whether it is on a content idea or on, we've got a new athletics director, what kind of programming needs might he have, to talking to one of our Houston Public Media Foundation board members, because we raise money through our 501c3 to help support all the costs. It could be on the phone with PBS or NPR related to us being a member station and different programming that might be coming down the pike. And then lastly, it could be with work-study students who we adore and bring so much energy, and we're able to teach them and they're able to learn on the job, get some experience, as well as much needed funds. When you're a college student, you need to earn a little money, yes. And the work-study program allows that. So that's really the universe of people that are in my day, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much.
So much variety from radio and television. And so is it hard to find that family life balance with that sort of a career?
Anybody who could tell you they've got work-life balance figured out is probably not saying the whole thing. I think it's a day-to-day situation. And the only thing you can do is get as much information that you can about your child's schedule, which sometimes there's last-minute things that come up. Try to work your world around it. And then daily make that decision about where you need to spend your time on this question. What will matter a week from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? And do the thing that will matter in the long run. And that usually always comes back to the children. And bosses may understand and they may not, but you just have to do what's right for the family. So that's really my answer to work balance. I can't say that I've found any magic formula. And of course, now my kids are grown. So having a demanding job like this with a very also fully engaged husband who is working full time, I don't have those dilemmas as much anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm able to even find time to work out occasionally.
That's a good improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a daily examination.
It's a daily thing. And some days are more balanced than others.
Yeah.
So, they say everybody's got a book in them. And I've always loved nonfiction. And the genesis of this really started as my children were getting older. And they're going to walk out of the door and they're going to go on, and you say, have I taught them everything they need to know? Are they going to be ready? And I wish I maybe had spent more time on this or that. So I started a book along those lines, like advice that would be left to them. Because I feel your first 10 years of life are so formative. You go from a baby to you're, in 5th grade by the time you're 10. The next 10 years of your life, you're doing a lot of learning and growing. It's adolescence and that whole thing. But you're still under the umbrella of the house. The next 10 years, you are really on your own. Mm-hmm. You are out in the work world. You are figuring it out. You are maybe your first real relationship, your first real job, your first living on your own. So I felt those years are extremely formative because the bumps and bruises you experience, you don't always have the safety net that you had when you were in adolescence. And how you react, how resilient you are, sets up the rest of your life. You're either going to let those challenges hold you back and keep you from trying again, or you're going to overcome them, learn from them, and go, okay, I made a mistake, and move on. So I've been fascinated with that decade.
Yeah, the 20s, that is definitely a time, as you said, where they're figuring it out.
Yes.
A lot of things to learn and a lot of struggles. That takes me back, when you say your book is for the 20-somethings, takes me back to Jamie Cullum, the musician, and he had a song and album entitled 20-something. I was exactly 20-something when that came out. And that's what the song's all about, is the struggles and finding the way. And the one line he has in there is that The truth eludes me so much it hurts. And yet, here you are, with such a fitting book, The 20 Truths. So it's wonderful that you have that. There's so many choices. You know, you go to any library or bookstore and you're going to see so much self-help. It's an exploding industry. So what do you think will really set your book apart from, why would they choose that book?
What is different about mine is it's very short and sweet. The book itself is 60 pages. It is supposed to give you concrete information that's digestible, number one, because people are busy and people in their 20s are not really big, in-depth. I mean, they read, of course, but they might read it on their tablet, or they might listen to it in a podcast or an audiobook, right? So I wanted something that was very digestible, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, having a companion journal. Journaling is very big, and I feel that the most important thing a 20-something can do is go inside. For too many years, we've been reacting, right? Like, reshare, post. You're reacting. But you haven't gone inside to decide your boundaries and how you will handle feedback. And that's what this is supposed to do.
Have you always wanted to write a book?
Oh, I've loved writing. Always loved writing. People used to say that, when we were in school, how much they hated papers, and I just loved it. I think it's two things. I loved the research, the finding it. I loved putting the story together, and I loved telling the story. So everything about writing is that and I've just always loved it. And I've always written in some form or another, whether it was for news stories going way back to my beginnings of my career, to papers that you have to do for whether you're client presentations or management presentations, to other just freelance articles on things that I might have gotten asked to do. So I love writing.
Yeah, and it's not finished for you. Am I correct? I think I read that it's kind of meant to continue the series?
I would love to continue the series. So this is Always and Never, 20 Truths for a Happy Heart. I would like to do Always and Never for a Confident Heart, which is, I think, another very important part of a young adult's journey. The Healing Heart, because we all suffer setbacks and disappointment and heartbreak and loss. And then the Helping Heart. And that's really, we have people in their 20s caring for parents as well as starting to care for children. So the Helping Heart would sort of speak to that space.
Have you started any of those yet?
I've started the Confident Heart. Okay. I have. I've started with some mantras, but I really want to do a little more research and do some interviews for that one.
So you've been with us in the Woodlands for how long?
My husband and I moved to the Woodlands in 1990. And boy, what a different place it was in 1990.
I bet.
And then when he reached high school, he was 5 years old. First grade, let's put it that way. I can't remember if he was 5 or 6. I think he was 6, mm-hmm. First grade. And then by the time he went to high school, we actually moved into Houston. I was commuting back and forth a lot, and he wanted to go to a smaller high school. And then we moved to Dallas for 2 years. Came back. By now, I had my daughter, and my daughter was a musician. And, of course, the Woodlands band program is huge. And so we moved back to the Woodlands from Dallas. And we've essentially been in the Woodlands since. And she's 26 now. So that's a long time.
So as a writer, you're always a reader. What are you currently reading?
So what I'm currently reading, I haven't actually even started yet, but I'm a big fan of David Brooks in that he has that cross between, being, of course, highly intellectual and sort of the pursuit of man's best self. So he has got this new book now called The Second Mountain, and it's The Quest for a Moral Life.
Okay.
And so it sounds like, wow, this is going to be complex and dense. So I got to get ready for this one. But another book that I've loved that was much more from a story standpoint was called Big Magic. And it's by Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
And that was about her journey of going overseas. This is about the creative pursuit. So she maintains everybody's creative. If you put the pressure to make money being creative, you're going to lose the beauty of being creative. Create because everyone is, and do it for the joy of it. And there's so much in her book. I actually listened to it twice. But it really lifted me up. And I would say to you, help feed getting this book done.
Well, thank you for being here and speaking with us for a little bit. I know it was hard in your schedule and life to buy out that time, but we're so happy you did, and we're going to spread the news around the community about your new book, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around town, too.
Thank you, Brynn. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for Woodlands Online for being such an important part of our community for, more than 20 years?
More than 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a wonderful community website.
It is. It really knits us all together. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.